When I was offered Dallas, which was the initial role that spun off, Gary and Val were the characters that spun off to become Knots Landing. I was offered that role, and I was doing for Estee Lauder, which is of course a famous cosmetic, I was doing all their voiceover work. I was also shooting something here, I don't even remember which show it was, but I had like 2 jobs going. I was going to finish this show and I was going to be in New York, and they offered me Dallas, which was to be shot in Dallas at South Fork. And I said, you know, I read the script and it was buzzed about already, Dallas. They were saying this is the hot new show. And I read it and I thought, how can I be in LA doing this, down in Dallas, and then back in New York doing 2 days worth of Estee Lauder commercials? And he read it and talked me into it. He said, you've got to, it's a wonderful part. So my husband talked me into a role that would become a 15-year chapter in my life. I have known him forever. He is, without a doubt, my best friend for life, and we have shared our lives. And when I do interviews, they all say, well, how do you combine a news reporter and a news anchor and a newsman with your acting career? But it's all we've ever known is 2 different kinds of lives, but parallels, and both in a way in show business. But we met each other at Boulder High School in Boulder, Colorado. I go at 18 to Yale, the youngest female after Julie Harris, to go to the Yale School of Drama. And then I'm offered to go to London to do a play in London at the Piccadilly Theatre in Piccadilly Circus. And I thought, well, I don't know anybody over there. I was never going to turn it down. I had to go and be in this play. But I let my husband know, who was at that time stationed in Germany at the Air Force Base at Spangdahlem. And I let him know with a telegram that I'm coming over to do this play. And every weekend he commuted from Germany to come down and be with me for the weekend. And that was the beginning of the end, because he said, you can't go home from London without going through Paris. You've got to just at least see Paris. And I thought, well, he's probably right. I get to Paris, and he said, well, you can't leave Paris without coming and seeing what the Air Force Base is like and meet my friends. And so it was like from lily pad to lily pad to lily pad to wedding. We got married on the Air Force Base. Not the way I had planned it. The dress, the German women are a little bigger than me. The size 2 here, they didn't have any dresses that were my size. So the matron of honor, who became my best friend, because she just took care of me, because I always need somebody, Blanche needs someone to peel her a grape 24/7. She made the dress smaller for me. She altered it from the whatever size it was to whatever size I could wear. When they asked my husband, how do you sustain a long marriage and a long relationship? He said, progressive loss of hearing. So slowly diminishing that. But now my husband has earphones. He has all the songs and all the Sinatra and all the Beatles and the Elvis and all the songs ever, Coldplay, everybody. He loves music more than life. And he wears these little earphone things, and I think that's his way to get away. So if you progressively don't hear your spouse and your mate, it's like the Dolly Parton secret, don't be together, stay apart. And that is part of it, so that the times together you just are crazy and in love and whatever. But I don't know, I think it's sharing both the good and the bad. And I mean sharing the bad to help someone through a dark time or a death or whatever it might be. When there are ebbs and flows, if you're there to kind of connective tissue for all of those, it makes the weave of the cloth that much stronger, I think. Well, we've had a year that's kind of weird, because my sister that I've talked about, to explain my love or feeling, my sister has had an episode with ovarian cancer, and of all things, the same year, just prior to that, there was a thing on Jack's ear that turned out to be a skin cancer, squamous skin, but it traveled to his neck, and he had to have surgery on his neck. And it was in the lymph nodes and things like that, and I was confronted with what if. I can't imagine my life without him. That simple. So it's the other half of my breath, the other half of my heart.